Hey everyone, I'm AJ Wiesner and listening to our T3 Technologies podcast. This is episode 2. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that some people find very controversial. It's going to be about working from home. So, and for those that listening in, and there are different types of phone system models we're going to talk about. At the end of the day, it's always a phone system. And the first one's on-prem. And on-prem is where you have a box in your building. So now, obviously, like for us, for example, we have an office here in Pennsylvania. We have an office in Florida. Our phones in Florida communicate back up to the phone system in Pennsylvania via VPN. So there's no physical box down in Florida. As well, then we also have our hosted platform that we currently use at T3 as well for other communications. But on-prem has its place currently. And we're still selling some on-prem solutions. It seems the landscape's moving more towards a hosted platform where there's not a physical box at your site. You strictly use the internet to communicate out for all of the technology on that communication platform.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right. So, but there's still a place for on-prem, and
certainly.
And obviously, we made an article about this, and it was very, very interesting to read, believe it or not, about the sunsetting of POTS lines. And again, for those viewers who don't know what a POTS line is, let me tell you. It stands for plain old telephone service. So what that means is it's a line that like your grandmother had, or like if you grew up in the 80s, that you would have had in the 80s. And you would connect these lines to a telephone system in a business environment. Well, now, obviously, and Tony, I'm going to let you talk about this more so because, put your sales hat on again. We'll talk about this. But there's a way that we can save our customers money even through an on-prem solution. Is that right?
Yeah, certainly. I would say that, again, this goes back to me like being the advocate for the customer. I say that with like italicus. I don't know why. It's true. Like I really am always trying to find like the best solution for the customer. I don't even want to sell it to them if it's not going to save them money. Like I hate to leave a site and be like, okay, yeah, just keep your partner system or whatever. But like, sometimes it doesn't make sense to like switch to a hosted solution or, but the on-prem it really varies. I think if you're like a very dense office with a few lines, then maybe like the on-prem is going to be the solution still. And it can still accommodate the latest technology. So it's not like, when you get an on-prem solution, you're getting something that's so antiquated. You're getting like a very good solution. It's like the next step of that solution that we were talking about, of that one customer in particular that was discontinued in 97. So the system was probably 17 years old at that point. And now, what is that? Close to 26 years later, it's still working. Yeah, 26 years. I'm pretty good at it. I think that you're still getting like another 3 decades of a phone system by even with the on-prem. So, I just try to find like the best solution for each case, and there's a place for all of it. I find that for smaller businesses, you might benefit from the hosted solution these days. 1 or 2, 3, 4-man shop or 4-person shop, I should say. You're going to really benefit from the hosted, not only because you're probably saving a few bucks, but you're going to get a much more robust system, much more feature rich, I guess you'd say. And a lot of features that help tackle the challenges of like the hybrid solution. You know what I mean? So like, like for me, I could have a desk on my phone in the office there in Bethlehem, in Northampton, I should say. Yeah. And then also I could have a desk phone here. I could use my computer, my cell phone. it's really hard to say. Every situation is completely different. So it could be on-prem, it could be hosted, it could be on-prem just keeping your POTS lines, it could be on-prem with your SIP trunks,
right?
All this different technology, and that's where we start.
Savings there, right, with SIP trunks. So isn't that right?
Certainly.
Let's say a customer had a PRI, and let's say the customer says to you, you know what? Our communication platform has changed from physical making phone calls to email. So now we're using our phone lines 30% less. Obviously there's a savings there, right? So they could decrease.
I mean, honestly, AJ, you don't even have to drop down in the percentage of usage. Like, it doesn't matter. You could have like a 1-to-1 usage. I haven't seen a case yet where we switched from a POTS lines to SIP trunks that didn't save them money, and like even with like whatever licensing or hardware changes we have to make, the payback period is, I mean, sometimes as little as 3 to 6 months, and you're just saving monthly automatically, and that's 1-to-1. Like, if you use your phones the same amount in the past as you do now, we could save you like 1-to-1. And if you are just mostly email, or people are just using cell phones more often, then again, that's another reason to switch to
a
hosted solution. But we can save you money on a 1-to-1 swap.
Correct.
Like it doesn't matter. Like if you're still using POTS lines, we don't know. The sky's the limit on how much they can increase those rates. There's no protection from the government. We could switch to like SIP trunks and save you money tomorrow. Like, it's just that quick.
Right. And we talked about before with the sunsetting of POTS lines, right? So, and that's a true statement. We just recently saved a customer, I think it was about $12,000 a year, by moving them over to SIP trunks versus using POTS lines, because the regulation has changed, right? So because now the regulation has changed on POTS lines, these companies, I'm not going to mention any names, but they can go ahead and they can charge whatever they want.
No, we did a few years back, we did a switch from a customer that had a PRI to a new on-prem solution. And by migrating them from their PRI to their new IP office, we were able to cut their monthly spend with them actually leasing the system. Yeah. So they went into a lease model. Right. They got rid of their PRI, switched to the SIP trunks needed for the new solution, and they were able to save money monthly from day one. So they instantly were saving money because they leased the solution. So every month they were saving money right away from the first day that it was live. It was literally a free swap. It was actually you basically get paid to swap to the new solution. No capital investment. There's no capital investment. They just they leased the phone system from us, and they switched from the PRI to the SIP trunks. That total monthly spend was less than
what they were currently paying.
Original PRI bill, the prior PRI bill, which is crazy. So like for me, sometimes I'm just like, why do we even need sales guys? Really, that's my question. Like, this is basically free. We're like giving out phone systems in that case, And the
reason why
this is getting way too salesy.
I would say though, the reason why I'm in this industry, and it's always been the case, is to help people. I said I'm not going to be Elon Musk wealthy from doing what I do now, right?
Yeah.
So,
right, Alex.
But
I'm just kidding.
I don't want to be wealthy. I want to live comfortably, but I don't want to be wealthy. What I want to do though is very important to me, and as well as with you, Tony, is that we help.
Yeah.
Key. Yeah. That is such key, man.
I'm really trying to advocate for the customer. Again, we don't have to keep going salesy. That's the nice thing about servicing, smaller businesses,
right?
Like, being in a smaller business, servicing smaller businesses, we know how important this is. This is, I agree. This is, there's for every person that works at your company, that's like a family there's like 3 or 4 people getting impacted. So
Yep. But we take it personal. We really do. Yeah. So, and then, obviously the on-prem solution, you could do and again, I know there are people that are going to have their commentary and they're going to say, oh,
if someone has comments on our second podcast, that's going to be exciting. I'm going to be calm.
It'd be fun.
I'm going to make the promise now. Everybody that comments, I'm going to get back to every single question.
You will get a response from Tony.
You will get a response from me for every single question.
Tony was sending me an autographed picture. But no, really though, think about it, right? You can obviously do a hybrid workforce or a work from home workforce with an on-prem. But then again, you also need to have a space to store that hardware. And again, yes, I know you can do a colo like Windstream or one of those where your on-prem equipment could be in a data center, right?
Right.
That could be the case, but you still have to maintain that hardware. Whereas, the work from home environment and the hybrid environment is better suited, I feel personally, from a hosted solution, such as, RingCentral, which is one of the hosted solutions that we do provide. And
yeah, for sure.
This as well. This is crazy, right? So and we're working on a solution right now where RingCentral currently integrates into over 200 apps. Over 200 plus apps. It's a plus. I don't know what the actual number is. And we're working on a solution right now. Tony knows this. Speaking of Central America, we're a potential customer of ours, but they were looking for a new solution. And apparently everyone in South and Central America, I don't know about Mexico, but they all use WhatsApp to communicate.
Right. They do.
And apparently RingCentral, well, you're actually engineering this with the where WhatsApp will integrate into RingCentral, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's not just, that's huge. Like if you're working with like this multinational company or something, or international company, the WhatsApp feature is going to be huge. But it doesn't just stop there. Like that's a big company solution, right? Yeah. It does work, but it's plus 200 apps. So you get the opportunity to, it doesn't really matter if you're a small company and you've adopted some, CRM solution, like we use HubSpot. Like if you adopt some CRM solution like HubSpot or anything else, we can integrate it in. Like it doesn't have to be a huge application like WhatsApp, right? Or HubSpot, right? There's smaller. A lot of plugins are built around this this RingCentral platform. So
it's great.
There's just it really that's what I'm saying. Like when you're a smaller shop, now you can introduce a CRM, right? Like if you're a small shop and you're trying to use Salesforce, like you can't. It's cost prohibitive. Like Salesforce is really expensive. But you could do like the free HubSpot account and your RingCentral account. My RingCentral calls are still logged in my HubSpot, even with the free account, with the free tier. So,
right.
I mean, it's just, there's a lot of opportunity there with these, for the small businesses. I'm talking to you, small businesses.
All you small businesses out there, please listen. No,
get in touch with us.
And obviously, I know in any sales industry, right, that you're in, it's all about touches, right? So how many times you touch the client. There's a lot of other factors as well. And I'm actually following a sales program currently that I will divulge in a future episode if anything did. But it's all about touches, right? Now, how do you track those touches? I mean, you could track it on like an Excel sheet if you really wanted to, but like with the CRM integration from HubSpot, you can track, I emailed this customer. I called this customer twice. They called me and left me a voicemail. I texted this customer via the RingCentral application, and will it track faxes? Does it track? I don't know that it would track faxes, but like I think if you do everything from once you have the integration, you do it from that suite, it all plugs in. And it's not even about like making sure that your sales associate is logging everything. No, it just logs it. Correct.
So like they're not wasting any time logging things. It's just automatically integrated. So
I'm a research, Tony. In my research that I've done now, we're talking about AI right, in our last episode, and how AI, is advancing more into the common workplace. It's not just a fun little tech gadget to go ahead and play with, right? It's actually coming up with the real world business applications, right? So, and people are actually using AI now. So I did some research.
Okay.
Took the time.
Another survey? You did another survey?
No, that was not a survey. But I did some apps that are compatible, or it does integrate with RingCentral that has an AI backbone or an AI platform behind it. And there are two of them. And one I find really cool. So it's called Theta Lake. And what Theta Lake does is it will keep track of all your phone calls, all your emails. If you're using video conferencing with RingCentral, it will track that. Also, even your that's why I asked about faxing. Even tracks your faxing. And what it'll do is it will populate all that data, and then it will basically search that data for anything that would be against your company policy. So let's say, for example, you're in banking, and it is let's say it's a banking standard not to say a customer's account number over the phone.
Oh, okay.
For whatever reason, right? So, or it's a...
I know what reason. That goes like the cybersecurity. No, it's just like protecting the customer. Yeah.
But, anyway. Right, exactly. Just like in a work from home environment, you should not be writing credit card information down on a notepad when you work from home, because that there would be against
PCI.
Thank you. Yeah, PCI compliance. Correct. So anyway, so what Theta Lake does, it will keep track of all your calls. It will analyze all that data. And what it does then, it matches data against your built-in policies with an AI-enabled workflow. And then it will send calls or data, I should say.
I'm actually going to look this up as you talk about this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm pretty curious about it because...
So what it'll do then, it'll take that data, right, that actual phone call or that video conference call that you have done, and if it feels that it goes against policy, it'll send it to a queue. And then in that queue, your supervisors, upper management will have to check those calls or that data in that queue. And what Theta Lake does is it will exactly pinpoint in that phone call or in that video conference call or even that fax what was a discrepancy with your company policy.
Yeah, which was out of bounds there. That's interesting. I really wonder, because like that makes a lot of sense for like a big business, like a really large place where they can make their own policies and like they have the time to like put forward these like company policies. But I wonder if they just had like canned policies that we could apply. Like, okay, apply like all PCI compliance issues. Apply all. They already have that built in. Okay.
And that's part of the engine as well, right? So obviously
that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Obviously policies change and government regulation kicks in, and then, things change throughout, the course of even 6 months, maybe even 3 months. So it will have to be updated, but there are built-in policies already that you can go against. And I believe, and if anybody from Theta Lake is listening, please contact us. But I believe that Theta Lake as well, let's say it's a PCI compliance, and let's say there's a government regulation that is changed or a industry standard that's changed. I believe that because Theta Lake is a SaaS, it will automatically update those services. So
it is.
I believe that's the case. Yeah,
that's really cool. That is something. I mean, and like, think about the cost for that. I know like with on-prem solutions, you have to buy like a third-party software integration. You have to add licensing to your your phone system for that, and then you have to pay for the licensing of that solution. And that doesn't come with anything. That's just with like the ability to record the calls. It's not like scanning it or anything. So this really makes this kind of like compliance and like, I guess you would say what is it, like quality inspection? What is that? What's that called? I don't know.
Quality assurance.
It gives you quality assurance. That's what I was looking for. Like it gives you that opportunity. It gives you that ability for like a smaller company. So you can integrate that with your RingCentral. Again, none of this stuff is cost prohibitive. I haven't seen the packages here. So.
Right. I mean, you know what it costs.
Yeah. But it's there. Yeah. I'm willing to bet that it's probably cheaper than, like the whole capital investment and like the maintenance of just the call recording suite.
Well, I'm thinking,
wow, that's a big bet. I wouldn't bet too much. I would do like 1-for-1, but yeah.
We do work for a bank now, correct? And they currently have a call recording package that they have to review those call recordings manually, right? So I'm thinking that if they had Federal Lake, they can go ahead and incorporate that into their workflow and their patterns, and then they don't have to go ahead and check each recording. They can just go ahead and say, all right, I'm going to check all these calls in this queue that go against our banking regulations or go against our company policies.
Oh yeah, but it saves so much time for management.
From a time saver standpoint.
Yeah, like listening to a phone call. Yeah, you're like doubling up.
There's another app as well that I was checking into, and it's called Smartly.ai. I make sure to put the dot in there. So Smartly.ai, and again, it's a SaaS, right? Just like Federal Lake. Oh, and I'm sorry. For those who do not know what a SaaS is, it stands for Software as a Service. So SaaS.
So I'm checking it Smartly out.
Right. So, and that's basically a chatbot. At the end of the day, it's a chatbot, but it does use an AI engine. I'm assuming it's something to do with ChatGPT.
It literally says ChatGPT.
It does, yeah.
For your business.
Yeah. And essentially, and again, right, you can come up with a workflow yourself for a chat app, or it would also use the AI engine in the back end. And apparently they also have a voice engine as well. So if you were to call in, I believe you're talking to a chat app, and you might not even know it.
And wait, and all this stuff these are all things that are supported by RingCentral, you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Again, we're talking 200 plus here, so we can go through all the different apps. I just want to pull a couple of apps that do integrate with RingCentral that have AI powered back engines.
No, and like you're really like shooting for like the fences here. Like what I would say is that like the real simple integrations, like Office 365. Like the mail is tracked. You send an email, right? That your calendar is syncing with it. It's just all this. It's like a single suite. You have like this one suite.
Right. And one thing people don't think about from a hybrid or work from home standpoint, again, we're going to talk about this in the next episode, which will stay tuned, by the way, for our next episode. But one thing I'm thinking about is that work-life balance, right? So one thing that you can do, Tony, is at the end of the day, now I know you have a company-provided cell phone, but let's say, for example, in this instance, my example, the employee has a BYOD, or bring your own device. So they load on the RingCentral app onto their mobile phone. At the end of the day, come 5 o'clock, work time is over, it's time to quit, they can just log off. And at the end of the day, you're not getting any more phone calls from your business app. And I think that's also a benefit, instead of like having...
Oh my God, for onboarding and offboarding employees, which is like a job. These things really, the hosted solution really saves. You could, and I'm surprised that like more people, I guess this is, my fault. I should be really like emphasizing like, hey, we can get you a Chromebook. If you require your employee to have their own cell phone, we could put you can get a $400, $300 Chromebook, give that to your, employee. We load up Ring Central. We load up Ring Central on their phone. That's all they need. So like if your employee ghosts you, right? That's what the Gen Z are saying. Like if you get ghosted, like whatever, they walk away with a $400 Chromebook, right? Like the end. You know what I mean? And then you just shut down that app, and you don't even have to have that awkward experience for your remote or hybrid workers to be like, hey, you're fired, right? Or like, I'm saying, I'm just saying that it makes things so much easier, and like there's so much less cost capital investment. Like I think you should get 100% remote.
And then as well, so obviously Ring Central can integrate in all these great features and all these fancy things that maybe you want to use, maybe you don't. But there's one more other hosted option, and I got to shout out to my to all my peeps over there, Ironton Telephone, where they have a very basic but still very robust hosted platform. Right?
Yeah.
Right. It's not.
No, yeah. That's that's the one thing that's something I want to highlight when we have this discussion. Like a lot of times, your current like service provider is going to reach out to you and try to add on this like hosted solution that they have, and you're going to get like a nice fancy phone with a screen, but it might not have all the functionality you're looking for. Like we can find the exact solution that you need, and you're not just getting locked into your current service provider or like getting extending that particular thing. Like we have all the options. We really have like what I would call a price ladder of solutions.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe Ring Central is not for you. Maybe you
right. If you don't have the hybrid model, like it doesn't really, you don't need it. But you could do a hosted solution, but with all your phones are still in your office, right? We do a hosted solution and you're good to go. Yeah,
here's a good example that I always like to throw in there, and maybe I'm wrong. But let's say you're a tow truck company, right? So obviously you have mechanics that are working on the tow trucks. You have office staff that are taking the emergency calls, being dispatched to those, God forbid, accidents or breakdowns that you might have. And so you need to have office staff that can answer the phone. You need to have a remote communication platform, because if a customer calls in and you have to be transferred to a tow truck driver, you need that ability. But then again, as a tow truck company, do you need to integrate in the HubSpot? Do you need a good CRM?
No. Yeah.
And again, if there's any tow truck companies out there that want to call in, and
call it. Well, you're a radio show bag. You put some headphones and a mic in front of you. You turn into a ditch jockey. That's hilarious.
Look at me now. Look at me now, Ma. No, but seriously, like I would love to have you on the show, because I would like to discuss with you, if a hybrid platform would work for you, because essentially a tow truck company, in my opinion, would be a hybrid platform. You have tow truck drivers that are out in the field. You have mechanics maybe at a shop that you have in, let's say, Wing Gap, for example. And let's say you have office staff working out of your Florida location.
Yeah. So I think we can.
There. Right. So obviously, but like I said, I think then, Ironton Telephone is a really good fit for a customer like that, because you meet that hosted hybrid platform without all the other goodies that you don't need, right? So
right.
Again, I gotta say, one day we have to bring on Matt onto the show. He's a good guy and he's man.
Yeah.
And talk about that as well. So yeah.
Right. We'll see. But they have to like click like and subscribe or something, because we can't keep bringing on quality guests like myself if you don't have, if we don't have the following. But we'll see. It'll be funny if this, like, we just turn in like podcasting. That'd be great, man.
Now we're really bringing on the radio now. Now we're bringing on
we're gonna have to start selling like podcast solutions. You know what I mean? So
just to recap real quick, we gotta cut this up.
Yeah, we do gotta wrap up.
I mean, Tim's like saying, roll along here, buddy. Come on. So just saying though, I mean, obviously, the work from home environment or the hybrid environment, in my opinion, is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Employees with that flexibility. Although there are certain companies that are bringing their employees back part-time, a hybrid environment. There are obviously, and obviously there's a lot more involved with a hybrid environment from a security standpoint, just your telephony platform. But it's certainly one thing to consider. So
yeah, I mean, there's so many things like outside of just the actual technology, right? We talked a little bit about the the user or like the customer experience, right? We got that. Like this stuff is always going to help with that, right? We're not like telling, oh, well, why don't you call AJ? Like that's a crazy request. I hate, like from a sales background, I hate to give like a customer another hurdle, right? I never want to give them any tasks. Like I never want to give the customer something on their to-do list. I try to take on all that. But what there is impact on actual business, and there are challenges. And me being a 12%er out here working fully remote in California, we do know that there's some challenges with the model, and at the same time, that technology is going to help to address those things. I mean, there's only so much it can do, but it is going to help. With the ability to collaborate, the ability to be in touch with everybody, and the ability to integrate across your work from home stack, right? Like you're going to have more than just one application when you're working from home, typically. Although you don't have to. RingCentral can do it all, right? Like, or whatever you're using. Like Avaya Cloud Office could do it all. Teams could do it all. Maybe even Slack. I think Slack has like phone integrations. You might be able to do it all through there. But either way, having that right stack is what's going to really help you to overcome these gaps that are created from the remote model, like cultural issues, like, creativity issues. The closer you're together, the better, in terms of that. And technology is the first step in bridging that gap.
And that's actually our next episode. We're going to talk about the challenges of a work from home environment. And
there we go. I didn't even intend to set up that segue, everybody. So
definitely,
I might be a natural. This might be my thing.
So I guess the takeaway is, the landscape's here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So you need a trusted advisor with your technology to make sure that what you're looking for is gonna match your business platform.
Yeah, and what I would suggest to anybody, if someone is hearing this right now, I would just say, I know we're pretty long into the podcast. If you made it this far, congratulations. We'll do like a free site search. No, I'm just yeah, we always do freight sale. Yeah, whatever. I can help you out. But what I would say, like coming from my role, if somebody's offering you some kind of new technology, like have them explain the ROI, because if you come to us, we're going to really make sure it makes sense. I will pencil it out for you. You'll see why this is a better solution than that. And I'll say like, look, I know it's an ugly price tag, but in 2 years from now, you'll be happy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And there might be some other, like I can show it to you, quantitatively, and then I can actually speak to the qualitative and answer your questions on that, right? So I can show you the numbers, what your payback period is. Don't just, if someone's coming to you and just offering one solution, you're on the wrong track. They're just selling you on one thing,
right?
Right. So just, this isn't supposed to be salesy. I get it. But just find somebody that's going to give you all these options, right?
Right.
All the options outside of one particular vendor. Yeah, just
if it's not us,
just talk to whoever you're working with. Yeah,
right.
whoever you're working with. Okay. If they're only pitching you one single item, like one single vendor, I mean, I would be weary. That's all. That was it. That's all I got.
Well, we'll see. I'll close up then after I say this. Is if you made it this far in our podcast, that's it. Now I know there's gonna be some editing going on in the back end. So I'm not sure how long this is going to be. I know this is pretty long, but yeah, but it's this far. Tony will do a free dark web scan on your domain.
Oh yeah.
This is like, again, this is another podcast for another time, But basically, it's a scan that will see if you have exposure on the dark web with your emails and your passwords. It's actually really clutch and key to have that information with your technology partner. And
yes,
Tony will do it for free. So
yeah. Just if you made it this far, just shoot me an email. We'll have Tim. Maybe you can put up a graphic on this with my email. Right. If not, tony@t3-tk.com. Oh, for those that are just listening to the podcast as well, it's radio and video. So again, it's Tony at the letter G, the number 3 hyphen or dash tek.com. All right.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next episode. Thanks everyone.